They hide the truth in the shadows. It's time to light the way. This is the Fifth Estate.
Um, it's okay. I looked a little drained. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. Um, but we're here. We're here on this special day, President's Day. And I took a little TV time out today while I was laying down and, to reflect on my service to this country. Also reflect upon how this country betrayed me and how this country is also betraying many of our citizens and people in many ways. One of them is the gross miseducation of what your rights are. It's by design. And I think about all the men and women that raised that right hand and took that oath. To tell the world, heaven, hell, and all tarnation that they will defend the nation of people and the country. But we've gotten so far from that patriotic sentiment that we have chaos in our streets. We have anarchy in our streets. But you know what? That's okay. I know some of you are going to just twist your head a little bit, but that's okay. They can do as they feel. They just have to understand there's no deterrent to doing what you want to do, right? But there is consequences that comes with those actions. And there's laws and statutes in place that make sure that happens. But what I want to get into this evening is about President's Day. Why do we have President's Day in the first place? Right? President's Day was obviously created to praise the first president of the United States on February 22nd, Mr. George Washington. And it should have remained that way. But Congress had to go play around with the calendar, and all that, and add all the other presidents in there. The holidays only supposed to be meant for one president and one president only, even though, yeah, Lincoln was a good man. He had his flaws, but he was a good man. But this was about Washington. This was only about Washington. So inspired in that, as I was laying in bed today, I took out my mental pen and paper and what have you, and wrote an ode to old George. That's why you see the title for what it is. And I want to share that with y'all this evening. It won't be long. It'll be just enough time. It'll be just enough time. I think I think you guys you guys will like it. I called it The Pillar of the Republic, an ode to good old George. I don't know why that came up like that. Why did it come up like that? That's odd. Don't be suspicious. See, darn technologies. I'll get it to come up in a second. Technology is being weird. Okay, I need to do it a different way, I guess. I swear, I get out of practice on this darn thing, and let me tell you, everything breaks loose on Rod. Everything, every single thing. But we gonna be in there. Give me a minute. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it the way I was gonna originally do it. I'm not gonna. I know I want to put my other screen over there, but it's supposed to be on this screen. But maybe, just maybe. Maybe I can do it this way. How about that? Oh, there we go. Imagine that. All right, there we go. God, I hate when I love when technology works eventually. But again, I called it the Pillar of the Republic, an ode to old George. In the quiet hush of Vernon's shade, where the Potomac winds winds its silver thread, the blueprint of our nation's soul was laid. By the steady hand that history's currents led, no crown he sought, though gold was in the reach, no throne to anchor power to his name. The lessons that his silences would teach were louder than their trumpet blast of fame. Through the frozen teeth of Valley Forge, where hope was brittle as the winter ice, he stood, the hammer and the heavy forge, to pay the liberty demanding price. With boots of iron and a heart of oak, he turned the tide against the ancient yoke. But greater than the sword he drew in strife was the quiet way he laid that weapon down to trade the grandeur of a leader's life for the simple soil far from the gilded town. He carved a path that every successor treads, the peaceful handoff of the heavy state, the humble bowing of the honest head, and the refusal to let one man be the great. He is marble column straight and tall, the compass needle pointing to the true, a reminder to the citizens in the hall, the power always rests at last with you. I want people to understand George Washington. So here we go. Get back on the normal screen. Let's keep in mind George Washington remains the indispensable man, not just for what he started, but for knowing exactly when to stop. It's a very rare brand of leadership that values the office more than the person holding it. I want to go to, I want to talk about Washington's vision when he left, his infamous farewell address. As we may, I got to lower this seat a little bit because I'm a little too high. I think a little too high. Let's go down a little bit, Rod. There we go. Now we're at eye level instead of me looking down at you guys. So I want people to understand the vision of Washington and the warnings he left behind. Those that haven't read the farewell address, please go read it. Please go read it. Or you can listen to it. Some people recorded it's probably 30 minutes long. But most people read faster than most people speak. So go read it. There's a lot of things that are that were so true at the founding that it's so true now. But I've broken it down into the four pillars that I've talked about, right? In my little tribute to Mr. Washington, right? And he talked about, right, when he talked about the spirit of the party, right, as the greatest internal threat to the republic, right? And he specifically said, right, in his farewell address, the alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, is its frightful despotism. Right. Let's keep in mind the Democrat and Republican parties are like, in the course of time and things to become, they became potent engines, right, by which cunning and ambitious and unprincipled men and women will be enabled to, or let's just keep it up, they have subverted the power of the people and to usurp it for themselves through the reins of government. And I want you guys to really understand this, right? When you have two parties either on their own bit or right, or in cahoots with each other, they're not working for you. And these unprincipled men and women are ready to take away your rights at the moment you squeal pig. No matter which one, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. They have proven over the years they will undermine liberty to draw your individual liberties into the government to control you. What do I mean by that? Every single social issue we have is exactly why government needs to get out of the way. Every single social issue we have is created by the political parties. They're creating the problem. The problem's not even there. They're not even allowing the people to think for themselves and hash it out amongst themselves to do what they want to do. The government just wants to step in and do it for you. There's people in both factions, right, in both major political factions that that are sitting back waiting for you to say, please do this for us. And when you allow the government to intervene into social issues, liberty gets diminished every single time, no matter what it is. I mean, really think about this a minute, right? And this is a simple one, and I don't want to get into the complex ones, but this is a simple one. You pay property taxes, right, for your home to sit on this piece of land. And the state, for example, the state of Washington is saying it's against the law to collect rainwater that falls on your land that you pay taxes on. The state claimed domain over the water falling out of the sky. You can't collect it as part of the state's water supply. See, this is a social issue. This is not even a government issue. This is an environmental issue. Shouldn't even be a government issue. You see what I'm saying? When you ask the government to do things that are not in their purview, they will take that individual liberty away from you. The second part of Washington's farewell speech, right? He argued that regional pride, right? And we're talking North versus South at this point, right? Would eventually destroy the nation's strength, right? Let's think about this a second, right? This applies across the board again, right? This is a social thing, right? Right. Think about it. The name American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always be exalted. The just pride of patriotism, more than any other appellation derived from local discriminations, right? Right? Your union ought to be considered as a main prop of your liberty. And the love of the one ought to endear to you the preservation of the other. The third thing that he mentioned in his farewell address is the threat of foreign entanglements, right? Because Washington was very, very weary that a young nation being treated as a pawn in European conflicts. Sound familiar? Hmm? Remember, he said, right, the nation which indulges toward another a habitual hatred or habitual fondness is in some degree a slave. It is a slave to its animosity or to its affection, either of which is sufficient to lead it astray from its duty and its interest. He also said the great rule of conduct for us in regard to foreign nations is in extending our commercial relations to have with them as little political connection as possible. We've gone far away from that, haven't we? We're in NATO, we're in the UN, we're no longer in the WHO anymore, but we're all part of these organizations, being buddy with these countries. Exactly what Washington warned us against too, right? He warned us about the political parties, right? He warned us about he warned us about the foreign affairs, right? He warned us about, the preservation of the union, right? And the fourth thing of all of this, right? Morality and education, which is the foundation of this country. Washington believed that the government's structure didn't matter if the people themselves were not virtuous and informed. And he said, right, quote, of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. Promote then as an object of primary importance institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge in proportion as the structure of a government gives force to public opinion. It is essential that public opinion should be enlightened. I want you to think about that. It's striking that many of these potent engines, and these potent engines, we're talking about Democrat, Republican, right, are currently at work, right? Just keep in mind, Washington's fear was not the fact that we had opposing opinions, right? But those opinions would turn us into slaves to our own passions or to foreign interest, right? This is where we are, people. This is exactly where we are. The miseducation, and we've seen it, right? ICE aren't real law enforcement. We've seen the height of racism. I mean, let's. I'm gonna, you know me, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all all the time. Even my mother said it's worse now, right? As far as not like blocking people out of stores, things of that nature, but the way the rhetoric is being used is worse now than it was when she was a child. My mom was born in 53. She said the way these people sit back and just let these people just run off and say the hard ER, and then you have people that look like me justifying it. Oh, well, technically he's correct because no. Those are the people that Harriet Tubman couldn't save, as she said. I can't save all of them. Let's just keep that a buck. And it's sad to see our country going in this direction again. All right. But you know me. I'm me. I'm not going to allow it. I won't allow it to happen. Because the last thing I want to see from my two grown daughters and my two grandchildren is to be brought up in an environment like that. I refuse. I 100% refuse. We're past. We're past the time, right, to be politically correct with people. We're past the time, right, that we try to see the other side because Satan has brought his reign here in our face. When an uninformed and uneducated bunch of people get into power, everything Washington said happens. It's been happening. And they have the little peasants down here on the ground doing the dirty work to usurp everybody's liberty and rights. And these people go right along with it. But then when they find out, when the real Gestapo comes to kick their front door and snatch their ass out, then what? Oh no. Don't holler now. Don't holler now, Gestapo. You called them the Gestapo. And now they coming to just stop your ass. Hmm? You decided to act like a fool in the street, so they coming to your front door. Hmm? It ain't no different, right? It's kind of, I find it ironic that the same people that sit around here, right, that talk about the SAVE Act is this and they shouldn't ID, but these are same motherfuckers that told you you need to have vaccine papers, huh? They said you needed vaccine papers to come out in public, huh? Hmm? Who did that affect more than anybody? Y'all know who. Y'all know who. I don't have to say it. The two demographics of people that affected. Hmm? They even said the people, right, didn't they? There was a certain group of people in New York, right, said they were the originators of it. And they were the first ones quarantined, weren't they? Hmm? Kind of ironic how people run around and call ICE and the government Gestapo. But you sat right here during COVID-19 called Hasidic Jews the devil and the carriers of COVID-19, and they're spreading it. And your governor and mayor, your governor quarantined them first. Your mayor quarantined them first, didn't they? They didn't quarantine anybody else, did they? Only the Hasidic Jews, right? I mean, that's not concentration camp like, is it? Hmm? And then they didn't want to offend the melanated people. So they turned around and said, oh, well, we'll go to get this vaccine passport so you can walk into the restaurant and come eat. Well, melanated people, they didn't get the thingy. They couldn't go in these restaurants and eat. Hmm? I mean, medical Jim Crow, right? Hmm? Medical apartheid, huh? But ICE agents are the Gestapo, right? I think I speak for everybody. We're tired of the evil. We're tired of the evil. But you know what? We are a resilient people. We are a resilient people. Are we smarter than our founders? In some regards, yes. Do the founders' words and messages ring true today? 100%. But I have hope. I have hope that God will keep his hand on this nation as we go through this spiritual turmoil. And as we keep moving through this spiritual survival of the fittest, evil always gets expunged. Remember that. Remember that. The evil always gets expunged. Are we to cry and weep for the wicked? It's God's will. These people are literal energy vampires, all of them. They're energy vampires. You say a word at them and it's just something that just suck your soul out of you. I want people to remember that. As we close out this President's Day, be thankful for this nation. We're going through a hiccup, growing pain moment. But these idiots you're seeing in the streets, they are a very small minority. I will also say to the parents that are letting their kids walk out to these protests, I'm gonna say it just like this. They make grown-up decisions defying you as a parent. right? Then they can suffer the grown-up consequences. Because I'm going to tell you, straight up, any parent worth their salt and care about their children, look, you take your ass out there in that protest if you want to. When you get back, your shit will be packed, and you better find somewhere else to go. Because you out here doing grown-up shit. So you can take your grown ass out there and get a job and go put a roof over your head while you go to school, huh? Since you want to jump up and make grown folk decisions, I have these rights. No, your rights are limited based on your parents. The real parents, that's what they're doing. Some people that sound harsh, but look, you go out in that streets and you potentially can get killed out in them damn streets out here doing this protesting and shit. Well, guess what? You made a grown up decision. So guess what? You grown now, huh? You grown? Here's your shit in a bag. Get out my house. Since you want to make grown up decisions around here. You Billy Badass. You know the streets. You let these adults that don't feed you push you out in these streets and tell you it's your constitutional right to do these things. Oh no. First of all, no teacher should be telling a child they should be doing this and that without their parents' approval. And if you are, your license should be snatched. And actually, let's go take it a step further. Let's keep it G a second, right? That parent should go up to that school and snatch that teacher by the back of their neck and drag them out by the damn flagpole. Let's keep that real. Snatch your ass, right? We tell my child to do what? And you didn't ask me? No, you getting your wig snatched. You getting tarred and feathered at the flagpole at 3 p.m. You better call the police, the FBI, the ATF, all them motherfuckers, because you are going down. Then I'm coming for the principal next for even allowing it to happen. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if my child walks off that school campus without my permission, y'all coming after me because my child was absent from school. You coming after me with criminal charges. Absolutely not. Snatching all y'all wigs. And that's what every parent should be. Snatching wigs. Because guess what? If that child gets killed during that activity, that school's not liable. Your kid left campus unexcused because they can't tell a child they can and cannot leave campus. They can keep them within them walls, but they can't stop them from leaving. Your child get out there and get killed in them streets, calling themselves protesting, or get pepper sprayed or beat down by ICE and Border Patrol out in these streets at 15 years old. The school ain't liable, and your insurance may not even cover that child's injuries. But y'all go ahead, keep playing with these people out here, and keep letting your children making grown up decisions. And you're gonna find yourself in a world of hurt. And to the parents that are allowing their children to do this, I hope CPS comes to snatch all of them from you. Every last one, come snatch them. Because you are being a neglectful parent. You are allowing your child to be placed in harm's way. They should come take your kids away from you. Straight up, real talk. I said what I said with my whole chest. With that, y'all, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. All that good stuff. Make sure y'all stop back by tomorrow night for the experience today. Me and Miss Val. I don't know what it's going to be about. Obviously, you know the drill. I'm got to go drink some water, and I'm going to go relax my body. Anyway, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Remember, love your neighbors, love your family, but ultimately, love yourselves and keep faith in the nation. Your faith in this nation is very important, and we need it now more than ever. Until next time, y'all. Peace and love.